Welcome to Proven and Probable, where we focus on metals, mining, and more. I'm your host, Maurice Jackson. We have breaking news coming out of Novo Resources trading on the TSXV symbol NVO and on the OTC symbol NSRPF. Joining us for an exclusive interview is the founder of 321 Gold and 321energy.com, Bob Moriarty. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Maurice, it's good to talk to you today.
Before we begin, Novo Resources is a sponsor of Proven and Probable and 321 Gold. We are also both proud shareholders of Novo Resources for the virtues we will convey in today's interview. Bob, you have some time-sensitive material published on the 8th of August regarding Novo Resources that speculators must pay very, very close attention to. What can you share with us?
Okay, well, first of all, let me give you a little background. Novo staked a bunch of ground around the Karratha region of Western Australia. They did a deal with a company called Artemis on a 25 square kilometer piece. The advantage to that was that it has a exploration permit, and you can drill and you could trench. It's a very tiny portion of the entire project. However, it's important because Novo can conduct exploration right now. It'll be another month or 6 weeks before they start exploration on the other far more massive portion of the deposit. But I went over there last week. Brent Cook went with me. It's my fourth trip to the Pilbara. I have known about that story since 2009. I started writing about it in 2012 when Quentin did the deal with Mark Creasy. I know more about the project than any of the other newsletter writers, and there's a lot of just bad, plain misinformation. It is not a piece of the Witwatersrand. It's a Witwatersrand style, same age basin. And Quentin's theory was that if you go back 2.7, 2.9 billion years ago, saltwater had the ability to contain between 1,000 and 10,000 times more gold. As the chemistry of the water changed and the atmosphere and oxygen was introduced, the chemistry changed and the gold would have precipitated out of solution. So you had a lot of gold 2.9 billion years ago. Where did it go? In the Witwatersrand, it's in the central Rand conglomerates. It's very rich. It's very fine gold. And the deepest mine in the world is 4 kilometers deep, 2.5 miles deep. And they're still recovering gold at a profit today. The difference between the Wits and the Hammersley Basin is the Hammersley Basin is still at surface. Now, they've been mining around the basin for over 100 years, 120 years. There's a lot of information about it. A company called Artemis announced in February that they had found gold at surface with metal detectors at this project called Purdy's Reward. Quentin went out there and took a look at it and realized that he was working on the east end of the basin and Purdy's Reward was at the west end of the basin. So he staked literally about 7,000 square kilometers. That's something around 3,000 square miles, believing that the conglomerate that came to surface would extend into the basin and would still be mineralized. So he actually took a sample, a 2 meter by 2 meter by half a meter hole, and finished that on the 12th of July. And he released a video showing the people using metal detectors finding gold nuggets. The stock went from 96 cents a share to $3.33 yesterday. The material was sent off to the lab. It was split in half so it could get duplicates. And because of the nugget effect, it's going to be very hard to get an idea of average grade. So he's literally going to have to do dozens of assays before we know what the real grade is. Excuse me. I managed to pick up a cold while I was there too. But the number one sample graded 87.76 grams to the ton, and the number two sample graded 46.14 grams to the ton. Now, that is beyond bonanza grade. The worst sample would be higher than any gold mine in existence today, and between them, they average 67.08 grams to the ton. That's over 2 ounces of gold to the ton. Now, I must say here, I don't know what Novo will go to. I don't know if it's going to go up today or whether it's going to go down today. I can't recommend it either buying or selling. Novo's been my largest position since 2012, and I absolutely am not selling here because I believe the story. But certainly the results were extraordinary. There will be a lot more testing, a lot more drilling, a lot more trenching. But until we know how thick the conglomerates are, until we know how far the conglomerates extend, until we know what the grade is, we're just guessing. Now, there's been some really wild information passed out, like billion-ounce potential or 10 million-ounce potential for Comet Well, and those are just potentials. I think I could go to any mining project in the world, and the guy running the project is going to try to convince me of the potential. We need a lot more information, but what has been released so far is extraordinary.
Bob, thank you for putting all this into some type of perspective for us, and it sounds quite encouraging for current shareholders and prospective shareholders. In all your years of experience, when was the last time you saw results such as this?
Last week. Now, here's what's interesting, and you're really going to like this. The problem that I had, Brent Cook was on the tour, and I've got a ton of respect for Brent Cook. He is absolutely one of the most skeptical newsletter writers out there. He does not write about stock promotions. If you don't have the goods, you don't get written about by Brent Cook. And so it was a real pleasure for me to pick his brain. And the problem that I had was, how thick is it? What's the grade? How far does it extend? I want to see something. And I couldn't, when you're talking about a 2 meter by 2 meter by half meter hole, you're talking about one hole in one area. And that doesn't necessarily mean anything. However, while we were driving around, the driver said, oh, by the way, there was a geological survey put out in 1909, and it said that this particular location had melon seed gold. Now, this gold that we saw, and I posted a piece, it'll be on the web tomorrow, looks like watermelon seeds. It's very consistent size, shape, and in fact, it's found 110 kilometers apart. Now, it is not Witwatersrand style gold. There is no gold that looks anything like this in the Witwatersrand. That's one rumor that's absolute nonsense. But it is interesting that you've got identical gold 110 kilometers apart, which suggests the strike is at least 110 kilometers. And certainly in the Witwatersrand, the gold extends across hundreds of kilometers. So big potential here. We just don't have enough data yet. Now, we actually went and bought some gold, and I bought some gold from this new location that we didn't visit, and it is absolutely identical to the gold that we got when we were at Purdy's Reward in Comet Well, and that's a good sign.
It certainly is, and we also want to give kudos out to Dr. Quentin Henney of Novo Resources. He's done a remarkable job there with Novo Resources and his entire team there. Bob, please give us your website where you're going to post this latest article.
Okay, it's 321gold.com.
And also, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule on behalf of all of our subscribers. Thank you. And also, to get more information regarding the press release and more exciting news regarding Novo Resources, visit www.novoresources.com or call Leo Carabellas, Head of Investor Relations, at 416-543-3120. And last but not least, please visit our website, www.provenandprobable.com, where we interview the most respected names in the natural resource space. You may reach us at contact@provenandprobable.com. Bob Moriarty of 321 Gold and 321 Energy, thank you for joining us today on Proven and Probable.
It's my absolute pleasure to be able to share that with your listeners.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for joining us today on Proven and Probable. Remember to like and subscribe for more conversations with the most respected names in the natural resource space. Check out our website at www.provenandprobable.com. The information presented on Proven and Probable is provided for educational and informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. The information is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice, or any other advice. You should not make any financial, investment, or trading decision based on any of the information presented without first undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional broker or competent financial advisor.